So hopefully everyone liked the video, the Boston vs. Bullies video, and got something out of it and took notes, really paid attention. Um, what I'm going to do now is I want to add some context to it. Those are all popular athletes and people we look up to, but now I want to give you the perspective of someone just like everybody else. People who aren't that famous, people who every day just go on. And that's me. So I'm going to give you my experience of someone who was bullied and someone who did bully. So I'm going to start with the being bullied. You guys know I'm pretty tall. I'm 6'2", and the thing is, I've always been that height. I've been that height since I was 11 years old. I haven't grown since then. I went through a lot of rapid growth spurts when I was younger, so I've always been tall. And because of that, I had some advantages. Yes, I was tall, but I was really good at sports because of this. People couldn't keep up with me. I was throwing harder than everyone, could run faster, do all of that. But it comes with drawbacks. I stick out like a sore thumb, and kids used to be jealous and envious of me. So they'd make fun of my height. They would call me weird names, all these sorts of names, Jolly Green Giant, all these things. Call me tons of names, the man child, all these things that I didn't really like and appreciate. But my thing is, I like school. I don't like getting in trouble. I didn't want to react, and I didn't want to. There's a lot of times I wanted to do what a lot of those athletes said. They wanted to hit them. They wanted to punch them. But you can't. You can't do that in school. You can't do it outside of school without lots of consequences. So what could I do? All these people were making fun of me. I didn't know what to do, even my friends. So I had to find ways to ignore it. One of those ways was reading a book. I used to love reading books, going outside, playing sports, like just keep practicing my sports. Gave me a way to ignore the distractions and deal with my anger. I used to take it all out on playing basketball, practicing baseball, reading a book, playing video games. It was something to distract me, to ignore it. That's one way. But then as I got older, into middle school and high school, the bullying kept up because people were still a little jealous of me. And then what happened is I started getting injuries because all those years of being so much taller, my body wasn't used to it. I was throwing the base. I decided to be a pitcher, so I was throwing a lot harder than my body could handle, and my shoulders started hurting a lot. I had to quit because I ended up tearing my labrum extremely bad, and to the point where I couldn't throw anymore without pain. I couldn't even make it from third to first base. So I had to quit baseball, a sport I loved. In basketball in high school, I destroyed my knee. I tore my ACL, MCL, meniscus. I got a bad knee injury that I still haven't really recovered from. And when that happened, all those kids who were making fun of me came back out and rejoiced because it's like, see, you're not that good. You're injured. You're always injured. I'm better than you. And I started seeing those kids take my spots in all those sports and kind of gloating about it, trying to brag to me because all those years I was so much better than them, even though I wasn't someone to brag. They now had my spot, and they were finally ahead of me. They needed that extra power to know that I beat you. I finally beat you. I have that power over you. And it didn't feel great. I lost a lot of friends in high school because they just kept saying mean things. And I kind of kept to myself. I was always that person I'd keep to myself. So I had to keep those strategies, and it lasted with me. Yes, I lost a lot of friends. People thought I wasn't social or all that, but it's just because I didn't want to be around people that were negative. And I stayed around them. I found friends and people I could hang out with that were positive. They knew me for who I was. They weren't going to try and take advantage of me or walk all over me because they knew I wasn't going to react. So I found friends that liked me for who I am. I stayed away from negative people. And that's something that happened when I was bullied. I just found ways to get around it. Because it's just friends, people weren't hitting me or anything, I just found ways to ignore it. And that's the hardest thing, especially when it comes from your friends, ignoring it, staying away from it. I did slip up once. One time in high school, one of my friends, I had this thing where I really don't like mustard. And they, for months and weeks, just kept throwing mustard packets at me or trying to squirt it at me. And at a basketball game, one tried putting it under my seat so it exploded on my pants. And I saw it, and I turned around. I gave a quick punch to his face, and I gave him a bloody nose. I felt horrible about it, but all my friends were like, oh my God, he actually did it. He finally did it. Wow, he actually punched one of us. Because their whole reaction, they weren't mad at me that I did it. They were mad they were surprised that I reacted because I never did. And I'm not saying you should do that. It was wrong. Didn't get in trouble for it, but my friends then showed me the respect, and then they apologized for it because they just never realized, even though I told them to stop, that it was affecting me. They didn't realize it until that point. And that was kind of me letting out all my anger for the years for it. Wasn't a great way to do it, but after it, like, I apologized to my friend. I was like, you didn't deserve that, but you need to know it really hurt me. And that's the thing, communication. If you don't communicate, you do have those slip-ups. Always talk about why. Talk to someone. Don't hold it in to yourself. Talk about someone. That's the biggest mistake I made when I was younger. I never talked about it with people until I got much older. And that's the biggest thing, especially if you're young. Just tell a parent. Talk to your friends. Talk to your older siblings. Talk to someone. Just let them know what's going on, and they can help you, and it feels like a whole weight is lifted off your shoulder. Just talk to someone. Now the bigger experience that I think the fourth graders from last year really got something out of this, and it kind of opened them up. Yes, I was a bully once too. A lot of people were. A lot of adults don't like to admit it, but they were when they were younger. Whether it's saying mean things to picking on one certain kid, or using their size to take advantage of other people, push them around. A lot of people do it. You always hear about the girls gossiping in middle school. Well, that's relational bullying. They exclude others, or they take advantage of someone. It happens all the time. You'll see it in middle school in a couple of years. You'll see it in high school and even in college. It's always happening. Mine came in middle school. I used to go to an extended day program, just like Abacus, like we have, and I had a group of friends. We all had been friends because we met at the extended day program back in kindergarten, and we're all still in middle school. So we had all these years together hanging out. We had our group, we had our clique that we hung out with all the time in the library doing our homework. And there's this one kid who wanted to be friends with us, and we didn't really like him. He was kind of annoying and always following around, tagging along, and he didn't get the hint. He didn't get the picture that we didn't want to hang out with him. We didn't want to be his friends. So we let him just tag along, keep it up. And some of my friends decided to start making fun of him, saying these things to him. And because he wanted to belong to our group so bad, he let it happen. And I could see it affecting him. But it got to the point where I had to choose, am I going to not bully this kid and say mean things to him, or am I going to keep my friends? So do I not say anything and lose my friends, or do I say something and keep my friends? And that's a big choice a lot of you will have, where your friends will try and turn against you or use someone to turn against you or get you to join in. And at that age, when I'm 11 years old, I want to be with my friends. So I chose to go along with it. I used to prank call this kid with them. We used to pick on him playing dodgeball or soccer, leave him out, exclude him, and he did not like it. There was a time where we actually had an altercation at the extended day program where he got to a point where he was just so fed up with it, he got angry and rushed me, and he picked up some rocks and tried throwing at me, and I pushed him to the ground because he had thrown something at me. I'm trying to protect myself. But even on the ground, he was screaming, saying how horrible things we said to him. I know there was a party one time where my friends went over to his house and destroyed his house. They were throwing things around, throwing food, spitting things, and they ruined his house. But he thought it was the greatest thing. Here we were at his birthday party, and these kids are there only to make him feel bad. He's celebrating his birthday, and kids were making fun of him. Kids are prank calling him. Kids are doing all these things, and he felt horrible. And at the time, though, I thought it was okay because I'm with my friends. We don't want to hang out with this kid. He never got it. So it was like, to us, we're going along saying, oh, we're just doing this to make him, he's going to stop eventually. He'll stop. It's okay. He'll understand. But he didn't. He kept going, and as things progressed through middle school, it got worse and worse until that final altercation. Then an extended day, people stopped. We were old enough. We could walk. We could take the bus. We could walk home, stay home alone. We were allowed to. So the group kind of disbanded, and so we all went our separate ways. Or we kept our friends group, but we didn't see him every day. So then high school came along, and We were in all different classes. I didn't really see him, but I never thought much about this bullying. I knew he hated it. He finally got adults involved with it after middle school, where we had, like, the extended day had to address it, and parents got called, everything. But really, none of us ever apologized, or we never really meant it, because we didn't really see what it was doing to him until we were a lot older. But because I was never the top person, I was just a follower, which is what a lot of people do. They're the followers, because that's how it is. You don't want to lose your friends, so you're going to follow along with them. That's what I was. I was a follower. I fell victim to that. I should never have participated in it, but I did. And in high school, my senior year, I took a class, and I ended up being in a class with him. And there was just an awkward tension. We could sense, like, we were hesitant to talk to each other, but as the class went along, everyone was participating. It was a fun class. It was a sci-fi class, and we all love sci-fi, so we were getting along. We found common interest. Him and I were partnered for a couple times. We found common interest with each other and talking about our favorite sci-fi stuff. And it felt great because here we are after all those incidents being able to talk as peers without yelling at each other or starting an argument. And it was a fun class. But there was always deep down this guilt, the guilt they talked about in the video, where I still felt, I started to really, as I got to know him, I really started to feel bad for everything I had done to him when I was younger. And the thing is, I couldn't get the guts to apologize to him in person. I was like, oh, it's so long ago, he won't care, he won't remember that, all that stuff. When deep down I knew he did. He did care, he did remember that, and he'd probably love a personal apology. But I could never do it. I could never get the guts to go up to him and apologize for everything I had done. I've always felt guilty. I still do. Facebook was around in high school and college and now, and I was friends with him on Facebook. I am now, but even still, I never made the connection with him. All I could have done was send a Facebook message, but my excuse was, I don't want to do it online. I want to do it face-to-face. Every summer I'm home from college, all that, still never did it. He ended up going into the armed forces, so I think he's out in California or something. I'm never going to be going to California anytime sooner for those reasons. So in my mind right now, I know I'm probably never going to get the chance to apologize to this kid. And because of that, I have this guilt and regret for those actions. I wish I could make up for those things and go back and change that, but I can't. I was a bully to this kid, and I followed along with a group of other bullies that hurt this kid's feelings and made him feel less than what he is, abused our power, and we did it every day for a long time, and I'll never get that guilt away. So that's why I want you to realize, really think about what you're saying. Think before you act. Really put yourself in the other person's shoes, because until it happens to you, you really don't know how it feels. And that's why you should just don't do it. If you know someone's getting upset from what you say to them, if you know someone's getting frustrated, or you should see that they're emotional, don't make it worse. Don't antagonize. Don't make them work. You've heard the expression, don't poke the bear. Don't make that bear angry. Don't hurt this person's feelings. There's no need to. Stay out of it. That's the best option. Or as you saw in the videos, stick up for them. If you know your friends are doing something wrong, step in, tell them it's wrong. Don't let other people make the same mistake as I did, as those athletes did. Go in and stop the situation before it gets worse. You have that power to do so. So that's why I made this video, just so you guys can get the perspective of me. I didn't want to stop and edit this video because I wanted just you guys to hear it come out for me, just like I did in class last year. So if it sounds rambled, I apologize, but it's coming straight from my heart, straight from my opinions of what I did. And that's how I wanted you to hear it. So hopefully this helps you guys put it a little bit into perspective. Have fun with these discussion questions, and hopefully we have some good things and good comments going around. Thanks.